Hi everybody, so my name is João Pärtel Araújo. I'm a Humanitude instructor. I'm here in the lovely Singapore behind me. So I can recall this one gentleman who was very difficult to get out of bed. He would be quite refusal about it. He could get very easily frustrated, very easily agitated, and even combative during care. Nobody was happy with it, not the caregivers, not the gentleman. And when I arrived, I was put up with this challenge. It turns out that when you have the right tools, and Humanitude just happened to provide me quite a few, there are certain procedures on approach, on how to talk to the person, how to engage with the person. And these procedures need to be quite well followed and quite fluent and efficient so that we get the results that we want. I can talk to you about some of them. I can talk to you about the sensory capture and its 5 stages. But with this particular gentleman, what really worked was for us to anticipate everything we're going to do and give some time for thought process. Because this gentleman had a slower thought process, and this made him a bit more easily frustrated, a bit more easily agitated, because he wouldn't understand what was going on. He could not recognize the caregivers. He could not understand what was going to happen and give value to the care that was being provided. So when a person is like this, something that can be very useful is for you to say everything you're going to do before you do it. So I'm going to touch here, I'm going to see you there, I'm going to take you there, I'm going, I will. And like this, it gives a sense of reassurance of what's about to happen, and the person becomes less likely to become frightened and startled. Another thing that we can do is to explain everything that we are doing. So I am going to touch you there, and I am touching you here. So like this, it kind of gives a proprioception feedback. You can tell the person where are you touching and what are you doing. So you kind of reinforce the stimulus that the person is receiving on the brain. Like this, there's more coherence and there's a better understanding. And for this particular gentleman, there would be a lot of non-verbal consent. We would have to be very attentive to his facial expressions because of his thought process being slower, and his ability to respond verbally was not as fluent as we are used to. It can become a bit fragmented, the communication. It sounds a bit strange to us who have no cognitive issue. But for this gentleman, it would require about 2 to 3 seconds for an answer. Another thing we do say in terms of speech is for us to talk a bit more slow, a bit more calm, low tone of voice with a melodic intonation. And this melodic intonation and this slower speed is not necessarily that I'm gonna talk to you like this. Okay, so it's not something so basic, because this can actually sound quite offensive. What we encourage is for us to lower the tone of voice, pause in between sentences, and even if you can, put some rocking intonation into your words, because it's kind of like an enchantment approach. Like this, the person is more likely to follow your instructions. So anticipate everything, announce everything you're going to do, describe what you're doing, everything you're doing, what you're doing, how, and give some time for the person to provide some feedback. Could be verbal, could be non-verbal. Non-verbal feedback, we're going to be looking at the face expression, we're going to be looking at the muscle tone. Obviously, verbal feedback is easier for us to assess, but most of the times it's not so much the content, it's about the tone of the voice that the person is using, because sometimes the words might not have the same meaning. And obviously, validate everything that you're about to do. So everything that you're doing needs to be positively reinforced for the person and for the care, which means that we will thank the person, give congratulations, well done, that's it, and thank you very much. And we will give some positive feedback on the care, that it feels good, that it's good, that it feels good to do this, it's beneficial to do this. So we're kind of validating the person and the care. What I just described to you, it's what we call the AutoFeedback. It's a technique that Humanitude authors, Yves, Gineste and Rosette Marescotti, have developed a long time ago, 1983, something like that, because they realized that the human communication model had a flaw. We expect people to answer back to us in order to continue with the communication. because we are quite verbal as humans. We expect people to answer to us so that we can engage, so that we can continue to talk. If we see our neighbor and we say good morning and he doesn't answer, maybe we won't say it the second time. But even when we do say the second time, will we say it the third and fourth time? Not very likely. So this is something that happens very naturally during caregiving. Because why? Because the person sometimes is not able to respond anymore. Sometimes the person is struggling to find the right words. And because we get a bit frustrated, we get a bit put off, we do not know how to respond to a feedback that is non-coherent or non-existent. If the person doesn't answer, or when they answer, it sounds like a nonsense. Most likely we will shut up. Most likely we will become silent during care. So it's something that we need to be very, very attentive while providing care, especially with a person with the dementia, because this is when the likelihood of not understanding, of becoming more agitated, frustrated, is more likely. And very naturally, we will create confusion, agitation, frustration, and the person will refuse care. So for this gentleman, the trick was really to announce care, to describe care, and to validate the person and the care so that we would get the result that we did. He was actually a very, very kind man, very gentle. He would be very, very keen on doing everything we would ask. He even was offering us compliments and smiles, and offering his breakfast for us to join him and to share the breakfast with us. So he was really, really, really sweet man. We just need to know how to engage and how to get to that person who sometimes is lost in there. I hope this was useful to you. I'll be sharing some more of these cases, more of these videos with small tips, and I hope to see you soon.